Hi everyone, Erin Bassett here. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute card, and these are the supplies that you're going to need. You're going to need some white card stock for your base of your card, a bunch of different pattern papers, and some twine, some stamps, or if you have other things on hand, of course you can use that. And then you'll need some adhesive to adhere everything together, and the scan and cut machine made by Brother. Okay, so to get started, I am just going to take this stamp that says Count Your Blessings. It's made by Teresa Collins. And some Stays On ink. It's one of my favorite black inks because it's permanent when it's on and it doesn't smudge or anything once it's dry. So I'm just going to stamp it a few times onto a white sheet of paper. And I want to stamp it a few times just in case one of them turns out funky. I can have a choice of the best stamped image. So that's why I'm going to do it 3 times. And this is just a extra piece of paper that I have lying around. I'm using the turquoise mat, and it's made for using cardstock. There's another mat for other fabric and whatnot. And I just want to make sure my paper is stuck on there really well. And then I can go ahead and turn on my machine. And it will come up with this message to put it into position. And then I'm going to push scan and direct cut, and then load my paper. And then start, and it'll start scanning the entire sheet of paper into the machine. And then once it's done scanning, it'll return it back to the starting position. And then it'll start recognizing it and showing it onto the screen. So you can see it scan the whole thing in. I pick OK. Then I can grab these bars and select just the stamp that I want to be cut out. So I'm just going to pick that third one that we did. And I can put a margin around it. I'm going to do 0.8 inches. And pick OK. And you can see it close up by pushing that zoom button. And then OK. And that will add it to my mat. And I can pick cut when I'm ready for it to cut. Now, first thing I want to do is insert my blade, and I want to make sure it's dialed to the right number. I have mine set at 6 for this type of cardstock, and I'm just going to place it into the holder and close that little flap. Okay, and just smooth down my paper, make sure it's stuck on there before I push the start button. And it'll just quickly cut around the image, giving it that nice margin that I wanted. And then I can pick the unload button, and my paper will come right out. And then I can just peel it off of the mat. Now there's also a spatula included with the machine. I tend to not use it just because I have a little bit of fingernails, so I can just pick it right off of there. Okay, so let's go back into patterns. And you can scroll through. You can see there's 12 different pages of patterns to scroll through, and I'm just going to pick a circle, and then I can change the width and height to be whatever size I want. Okay, and then set, and then I can move it around anywhere on my paper that I want. So just pick OK. You can add stuff to it if you want to, but we're just going to do just the circle. So we'll pick cut and go ahead and load paper into my machine, and then pick the start button when I'm ready. Okay, so there's my paper, and start. Just move this so you can see it. Okay, so there we go. It'll quickly just cut my circle for me. Then unload my mat and peel that right off of there. Okay, so there is my circle and my stamp that's cut out, and I don't need this one. Then we'll go back into patterns and cut out a little scallop circle to go behind the circle that we already cut out. So I'll just like I did with the circle, I'll adjust the size. I'm going to go, smaller, and then pick OK and cut, and then load my paper and start just the same as we did before. So that'll go ahead and cut out the scallop circle. It's hard to find the right angle for you guys to see that. Okay, and so it's the right size that I need. And voila, there's the little stack. Okay, so now let's cut out the border piece. So I'm going to use that same charcoal gray paper that we were using previously and just load it into my machine again. And it'll ask me if I want to delete. And yes, I want to delete and go back to the patterns. And I'll pick the borders, and then you can scroll through. There's 11 pages of borders already installed, and I'll pick this one. And then again, you can adjust the size however you want. I'm going to do a little bit smaller just so I don't need it ginormous onto my card. And then you can use this button to rotate the design. And then go ahead and drag it onto your mat wherever you need it. Remember that you already have a cut piece, so you got to adjust for that. And then pick the cut button. And if you need to load paper, go ahead and do it. And then the start button. So I have my piece cut out. And because it's a little bit more intricate, it has all these little chads that need to be punched out of it. And so you can just go ahead and take all those out quickly. Let's get ready to make our card. I have my white cardstock scored and folded in half. You can just use a bone folder if you need to. And I'm going to take my smallest piece of cardstock and put some adhesive on it. I'm using an ATG adhesive by 3M. And just put that right on there. And then adding the bigger sheet. And they're just going to overlap slightly at the bottom where they meet. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our border on there. And again, I'm going to use the ATG gun to put it on there. And if those little bits need to be tacked down, you can use liquid adhesive. So I'll just place that on there, line it up with the line right there. And then go ahead and add my polka dots right on top of that. So I'll just add some adhesive to that and then line it up with the top of the border. And then I can just take some scissors and trim off those little edges that are sticking out. Okay, so now we have the scalloped circle and the regular circle, and I'll just adhere those two together, trying to center up as best I can. And then for the stamped image, I'm going to use some foam adhesive just to rise it up a little bit, give it a little bit of dimension. And you don't have to use quite as much adhesive as I'm using on it. I just want to be able to mail it, and so you know how beat up it gets going through the mail. So I'd rather be safe than sorry and just use a little bit more. So once that is on there, I can figure out the placement of where I want it exactly on my card. And then I'm going to add some dry adhesive, the ATG gun, and then some wet adhesive too. And that way it's not going anywhere. Okay, so now it's time for some trim. And so I'm just going to dig through my jar and figure out which colors will look best. And you know, sometimes you think, oh, the yellow or the gray, that would probably be better, but sometimes a pop of color works really well too. And so that's why I end up going with the pink color for this. It just really pops and looks good. So to get that to stay on there and not move around, I'm going to use my crocodile to just punch a little hole. It's just a really little bite, like a half moon off of that right side, and then a half moon off of this side, which will turn into a circle in the center. But that way, when I thread it through and wrap it around the front of the card, it's not going to move anywhere. And I don't have to worry about it sliding all around. Okay, so I'll just get that wrapped around the front of the card about 2 times. And then I can go ahead and tie it right in the center. You want to try to get it lined up as best you can. And of course you get a knot. I hate when that happens. Okay. So now I'll go ahead and tie it. And I like to double knot it just because the times that I don't double knot it, it just comes all undone. So you can see the bow just looks kind of wonky too. So go ahead and double knot that. And then I like to do my bows upside down. They tend to turn out better for me. I don't know why. So if you have trouble tying bows, go ahead and try that. And I'll just stamp a sentiment on the inside. And my card is finished. So count your blessings on the outside. So happy to have you in my life on the inside. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Stop by my blog, erinbassett.com, for more tutorials and ideas. And also check out the Brother Scan and Cut machine if you haven't already.